Welcome back for number 8,1050 in the year 2020 of our fabulous interviews with people that everybody wants to get to know. Today I'm joined by Mary Cromeans of the Robert Cromeans Salon Group. And she has been a very difficult person to get because they are all of a sudden very, very busy. Wish I had called you 2 months ago when you guys were so closed. But we put the greatest things toward some of the greatest things at the end. And so welcome to our show, our conversation. Mary, tell everybody who may or may not know a little bit about your history in the industry, what you're about, what you do.
All right. Well, thank you, Leslie. I feel so honored that you would even invite me on one of these. I listen to you all the time. So I kind of live by a lot of the things you talk about. So thank you for having me. Well, I've been in the industry for over 25 years. I've always been with Paul Mitchell. I went to beauty school during high school and fell into a Paul Mitchell salon and became an educator with John Paul Mitchell Systems when I was about 18 years old. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I learned about Robert Cromeans and his salons, and he traveled doing hair shows with his salon team, and I just fell in love with all of them. I was like, I need to join the circus. I need to be with these people. These are my people. So when I was 20, I moved to San Diego to work for a Robert Cromeans salon, and I've been there ever since. I've been there now 24 years. And
wow.
I love it. Yeah, it's just, I love doing hair. It's my passion. I love being around people. I'm missing my hair show life a lot because that's a different type of connection that I get, but I love being behind the chair as well because the instant gratification that you get when you do something to someone's hair and they just love it. Kind of as we were talking, you don't always have to give somebody the biggest change in the world or send them out with bright pink hair for them to feel so amazing. And that kind of fills my artistic soul. So yeah,
I love your passion.
Thank you.
I just love your passion. I was talking to somebody recently about the fact that, when I was a kid and I would go into a hospital, I would have that like rush. Like, I just love this place. Like, I love everything that happens here. And it made me know that was like my passion. Like, I wanted to work in healthcare. I wanted to do that part in my life. And that's how I still feel when I go into a hospital. And I just see that passion in you about making somebody look their best, feel their best, and that ability that you guys have to change somebody's life. And I think right now, everybody is just tired. I have a sense of the whole country, everybody being tired, and everybody feeling kind of flat is a good explanation of what I would say. Are you seeing when people come in that they are wanting to I want to get my hair all cut off. I want to make a big change. I want to do something different. It's almost the one way I can change my life today. Are you seeing that play out in the salon?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Especially because so many people hadn't been in the salon for, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. And, many guests come in every 4 weeks. So their hair has grown out. A lot of guests are like, they just cut the pandemic off my hair, color the COVID out of me. They want to look and feel like themselves because everything has been turned upside down. And then on top of it all, most of everybody that gets to work from home, they're staring at themselves like we are right now on a Zoom call every single day, staring at themselves, like picking themselves apart. You're just looking at your head thinking, my hair's frizzy. Oh my God, I have gray hairs. Do I have a double chin? There's just everything, which in your normal day life, you don't stand in front of a mirror just looking at yourself, and presenting. So the salon guests have been, there's been a lot of, chopping off their hair and, getting rid of it, especially those guests that used to like to come in every 6 weeks for a haircut. Now their hair's grown out. It's not where they want it. And the biggest statement that guests will say, and it's been more than one person, they thank you for making me look human again. I feel so much more like myself. I feel like now I can do whatever I need to do to continue to get through this. So it changes their whole perspective on life. And I think also the other thing that I think that we as hairdressers sometimes take it for granted because it's what we do. Probably you do the same thing. Like, when we're used to doing something, we take it for granted, the effect that we can have on people. And the fact that we touch people, we're allowed to touch somebody. When I massage your head and give you a neck massage in our wash house, that's just as transformative as the haircut and the color. And just the power of touch. And, people aren't getting facials. Well, they weren't. We weren't allowed to get facials. We weren't allowed to get a massage. And weren't allowed to go get your hair done. And those are all the things like when you're in panic mode or you feel stressed, oh, I need to go get a massage. Let me get one of those. But all of a sudden, we can't do any of that stuff that kind of refills us or makes us feel good. So when they're coming into the salon, oftentimes it's the first time someone's really touched them and massaged them and made them feel good in, 6 months. So it's pretty wild.
It's really interesting. I talk to students a lot, and I think that when it was interesting, we did an interview last week with somebody who is a program director at a school. And what she said was her parents were really keen on education, and her parents wanted her to go and get a 4-year degree, even though she knew she always wanted to be an esthetician. And she went and she got her bachelor's degree, and then she got her master's degree. And then she still, when she told her parents she wanted to go to aesthetic school, her parents were still disappointed. And I'm always talking to students and saying, don't ever marginalize yourself. Don't ever marginalize what impact you have on someone's life. Because to your point, I don't look at myself, in the mirror every day, all day long. And during COVID, one of the things that happened to me personally was during the time frame when I couldn't get even my hair colored and all the gray started growing out, and I kind of started getting used to it. And that kind of killed me a little bit inside, that I just got used to it and I was okay with it. I mean, it just bothered me a little bit inside. So at least going and getting color was the step in the right direction of kind of taking control back of my own life, like feeling like I'm more in control. And that I think for women in particular, having a style, having something they do every morning, a routine, helps us feel like we're getting back our lives. So you guys, amen to you. I am going next week, and you'll be shocked when you see me. My hair will be some style of some sort. I don't know what, but it'll be something.
Well, you look like you have great hair, so I feel like
thank you.
It looks
I got a lot to work with now because it's grown out. But so a little bit about what you guys have done in the salon with COVID. I know I'm not going to ask you about how you disinfect, all of those kinds of things, because I know from talking to you and from watching your Instagram and watching your videos, you guys are already doing all the right things in terms of cleaning, disinfection, all the proper infection control. I am really curious. You guys you have 2 salons in California and 1 in Oklahoma City. Is that correct?
Yes.
So very different in terms of opening, closing, how that all occurred during COVID.
Yeah.
Tell me about that whole experience and what it was like for you, not only as an owner, but as somebody who actually does services, stands behind the chair, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it was very different, because nobody's gone through this before. So it's not like you could call somebody up, or Robert had this experience previously. We basically were all learning as we went. So we immediately started Zoom calls with all of our salons. So we just said, all 3 salons, we got to get on these Zoom calls every Monday. We need to be connected. We need to have a string of continuity through all the salons so everyone's on the same page. Excuse me. So our Oklahoma salon opened 4 weeks before us. So they got to open up in May.
Right.
And it was great because they sort of rolled everything out and got to do it real time before we did it in California, but we also got to hear feedback from them. So we tried to be with them through everything, and coach them along the way and doing all of that. So one of the biggest differences, Oklahoma City, they don't take it quite as seriously as a state and a city as California does or other states do, but our salon still did because we're under the Mary Cromeans salon brand. So a lot of guests were coming in and saying oh my gosh, you guys are really doing everything to stay clean, sanitary. We feel so safe here. Thank you for doing all of this. And then we started getting a lot of referrals from other people saying, no, if you want to get your hair done, but you want to feel great and safe about it, you need to go to that salon.
Yep.
So, and that started to roll over into California as well. We've gotten more new requests than ever before, unfortunately, because many salons have had to close, but also because we've been getting really great Yelp reviews and 5-star reviews. Our guests have been talking about how safe it is, all of the precautions we're taking. And, I feel like the majority of hairdressers, we're sanitary anyway. 1,600 hours, we go through all of this. We don't get our license based off of how great we can cut a straight bob. You mess up one thing on sanitation, you don't get your license, but you cut crooked fringe and you can still get a license as long as you have, put your comb in the soiled container, wash the sink before you use it. So we already do that stuff, and almost mindlessly to a certain degree.
Right.
So for us, we just basically took a lot of that sanitation and pulled it out in front of the guest a little bit more. So we don't keep our barbicide container on our stations just because sometimes, it's wet and stuff like that. So we do keep it in our galley. We do all of that behind the scenes, but I made cards that sit in a little a little frame on each station. And so one side is green that says sanitized. The other side is red that says not sanitized. So Leslie, if I finished your hair, I would just flip the little sign. It says not sanitized, because even while I'm cleaning up and getting all the stuff off, everybody knows don't put anybody in the station until we've had a chance to sanitize it. Yeah. So then we wipe everything down with barbicide, wait the 10 minutes, and then flip it back to sanitized. So that's one of the things. And it's great because it's all, like Robert has been saying, it's all about the optics of the guest too. Right. They need to see this stuff. They need to, you know, because we do so much in the back room where we have access to water to like wash our brushes and then sanitize them, you know, we still have to do stuff out front so that they know, you know, before they sit in this chair, this has been sanitized. Where before we didn't do that. You know, I certainly cleaned my station, but I didn't sanitize my station because truly the guest barely touches the station. But now we sanitize the station, the chair, everything, you know. So it's a really
great point. We talked about a lot with the reopening. One was make sure that you're taking credit for what you're doing. Like if you're going to go to the back and get a clean towel, wash your hands and get a clean towel, say that. I'm going to go wash my hands and get a clean towel. Take credit for everything you were already doing anyway, but take credit for it. But then also part of your business coming back to life was making sure the consumer felt comfortable, regardless of what the rules of the state were. It doesn't matter. If the state says a salon can open, it doesn't matter if your customer doesn't feel safe. And so you guys have clearly done a great job of that. And I mean, you are literally me preaching to the choir. I mean, I love that. And I love that somebody of such high stature as you guys, so recognizable, is already doing everything right. And that makes me feel so much more comfortable. I am sad that in California, you had to wait so long to be reopened, but so how you're reopened, everything's.
Yeah, we just had our first month, we got to reopen again on August 31st. So yesterday marked a solid 4 weeks, which was great. And, you know, during the first shutdown, we took the time we remodeled one salon and then added all the COVID requirements to it and the things that Robert had thought of to go just above and beyond what the state had said. And then in our downtown location where Robert and I both work, we didn't really do a remodel, but we did take the stations off. We separated them 6 feet apart. We added the tri-wall plexiglass in between each station and did a bunch of those types of things. So we didn't have to do really anything extra because we got shut down, but they didn't say you got shut down because of now do A, B, C, and D. They just shut us down. So it was what it was, but we just sort of took the pause again to try to see the silver lining. And we took the opportunity to look back on those last 4 weeks that we had the opportunity to work and see what worked, what didn't work, what can we change this time. And we just took it as another chance to look at our business and have an opportunity to make it even better. So it's been great. You know, again, we just, like you said, we try to make a big deal about all the things that we're doing to the guests because we want them to know that we're doing it. Yep. And then, you know, we do ask our guests, you know, they want to help you. You know, salon guests always want to help their salon. They want to see their salon be successful. They want to see it be busy. So when they're telling us how much they love their hair that day, I'm just reminding everybody, make sure you ask for that Yelp review and ask them to say not only about how great their hair looks, post a picture in the salon, and say how you felt being in our business during a global pandemic. Yep. Because they all, you know, they say like, wow, I can't believe how much you guys have done. This looks amazing. We can see everything you've done and how much effort you've put in to make sure that we feel great coming in. Like every guest realizes it's for them and it's for our team as well. We want our team to feel great about it. And, you know, luckily they do. So
yeah, there was a survey that came out maybe first part of June. And it said that Americans, the thing they were most afraid to do in the COVID crisis was get on a plane. But the second thing was go to a salon. That was the thing they were second most afraid of doing. And I'll be honest, in my own personal life, my stylist had gone on maternity leave and we were all shuttled to somebody else, a family member of hers, during the time she was on maternity leave. And my first visit back, the salon's open, I think it was like April 29th or May 29th maybe. And I went like that very next week and it was too crowded for my comfort. I was really uncomfortable. It made me feel like I wasn't safe. It made me feel unsafe. And I could really relate to that survey, you know. So some of the things that I even said in all these interviews were things from my own personal experience of what would have made me feel better, you know, in that environment. So
Well, we were booked at, one of the things was obviously like the government said, you have to be booked at 50% capacity. So our one store is very big. It's 6,000 square feet. So I feel like at certain times we could fit 50 people in and still not feel like it's crowded. However, we didn't go against that. We reduced our team's hours so that they were working 6-hour shifts, because having to wear a mask and a visor while you're doing hair, if you don't practice, like that doesn't just come naturally. Like doctors and nurses don't complain about it, but you're exhausted at the end of the day. You're even exhausted in the middle of a highlight. Like, oh my God, it's taking me so long to highlight, because you are like, I can't breathe, And so we reduced everyone's hours. And we also give our team, after every guest, a 15 to 30 minute wellness and sanitation break. So they can have the time to sanitize with that 10 minutes. You have to, when you're sanitizing with barbicide, as if you're not using the wipe, but we don't use the wipe on our tools. We sanitize our tools in the barbicide solution. So you have to wait 10 minutes. And so we want them to be able to do their sanitation and then go outside, take their mask off, drink some water, and have that moment. And in our one salon, it's like it's kind of like bittersweet. So it's nice because the guests do feel great that they're like, oh my gosh, not only do you have the 6 feet markers, but I can, if we only have 4 stylists working and only 4 guests in the salon and they're all spread out, you really feel like you have the whole salon to yourself. On the other hand, for us, I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss the energy of the salon with everybody doing hair. And it is picking up a bit, but we're still erring on the side of precaution, because we still have some guests that are just coming in for the first time, since we've only been open, a total of 8 weeks now, first time in June, and then now this time. So it's not that we didn't get all of our guests in. So it's not like they've had that first experience where they feel good and are ready to keep coming back.
Right.
So we're still erring on that. We're allowing our team, though, as they feel more comfortable with the mask. Like I just went back to an 8-hour day. So I worked 12 to 8 rather than 2 to 8. And, but still with the wellness and sanitation breaks, like I think that will stay forever, because it is really nice and it's necessary.
Yeah.
So, but
I think
the guests,
that'll be positive. Long term, I think in all of our lives, whether it's what we do at home, whether it's what we do in our jobs, our entertainment, our social life, I think there'll be some positive changes if we can just look for them.
Oh.
It seems like you guys have found a few of them already.
Absolutely. I feel like it's made us better and more aware. And, the not double booking part is hard for some of us that have been in the industry for so long, and that's all we've known, doing a guest every 45 minutes and in between color. But for me, I feel like it's been the best thing for our salons and for our team, because even for myself, where I think I give great customer service, I think that I pamper my guests so much. I know that if my next guest is waiting, I try to honor people's time. There are corners I cut, and usually those corners are, I'm not telling them about what they need for their take-home regime at home, or I'm skipping over that future reservation, which only hurts myself, So now I have that time just to work with just them. I can be more, it's more conversational. I don't feel like I'm rushing at the end. And in our salons overall, we've seen increases in our average ticket on across the board, from our new talent to Element 5, from $50 to up to $200 increases in their average ticket per guest. And I could only believe it's because they have more time to spend with that guest and they're really pampering them.
And I think as the consumer, you feel like you're more connected, right? Like, I'm not just a commodity. I'm not just my credit card. I'm not just the person that's sitting in your chair for that moment. You're engaging with me. You're getting to know me. We're talking about my routine. And so you're not going to give me, for example, a style I just can't manage, because we're taking that time where you're connecting in a way that we probably all used to do a long time ago, before we got very, very busy and, all pushed to the time limits. So I really appreciate that. So, well, I won't keep you any longer. I do want to tell the audience, I want to sort of tease everyone who's watching that the first part of November, I will be in your salon. We'll be launching a new product, and we will be doing some videos to see what you're doing, to actually visualize what you're talking about, the changes you've made. We really want to show people, what did you do to make this a different type of a place, and what do these services look like now? And like I said, we'll be launching a new product. So I'm excited to do it with you and do it in person. It's kind of fun to do things in person now. So everybody needs to look forward to that. Mary, thank you so much for your time. I know you guys are so busy, and I really, really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for including me anytime. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you in a few weeks, about 4 weeks. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
Perfect. Bye.
Bye.